How can you find your human design chart if you do not know your birth time? This happens quite often that people don't know exactly when they're born. Maybe their mother is passed away or doesn't remember and they can't find their birth certificate. They might have an idea that they were born in the morning or the afternoon, or have no idea at all. Depending on the scenario, there is possibly a way that you can clarify your human design chart. I'm going to share with you today my method for what I do when I'm trying to find out someone's human design chart without knowing their birth time. If we haven't met, I'm Karen McMullen. I offer human design as well as channeled guidance from above to help sensitive souls to step into their power to serve the common good by doing what they know inside is right for them to do. And so if that is you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can stay tuned when I post new content every week. First things first, if you are brand new to human design and you've never looked up a chart or don't understand a chart, you're going to need to go watch the video about how to read a human design chart before you watch this video, because you will not understand what the heck I'm talking about if you don't have the foundational language that I shared in that video. Also, my method is definitely not that scientific, as you will see in a moment. So if you want to get a really accurate as possible birth time, I would suggest doing a birth chart rectification with an astrologer. And I will link a few astrologers below and their birth chart rectification. How that works is that you share your birthday and your location of birth, but then they go through maybe 10 life events, like a death, a birth of a child, a marriage, life-changing events that you've had. You list about 10 of them, and then they will magically somehow compute what your likely birth time is. So in essence, what we're going to do is we're going to look up the chart throughout the day, and we're going to examine how the chart changes according to several criteria in order of importance: type, decision-making authority, profile, defined and undefined centers, channels, incarnation cross. From there, things can get much more detailed and much more complicated. And as the more detailed that you get into your chart, the more that time matters. All right, so let's take a look. We're gonna start by looking at 4 different times, and I just sort of chose them randomly, but have them spaced apart. If you're new to human design, you're probably gonna need to make a note like, okay, at 1 a.m. this person's a manifestor, at 8 a.m. they become a generator, and then the authority, the profile is like a 3-6, and then it becomes a 4-6, etc., because you might not be able to keep track of the changes in your mind as I do when I'm doing this video. So you'll see me do that in my mind, but you might need to do it visually with a little chart, something like this. Looking at my mom's chart, I'm using the software bond2.com to generate this chart, but that's just because I happen to use this software. So you can use any website where you can look up a chart, such as Human Design America. So again, so we're going to start by checking out does the chart look like at 1 a.m. So at 1 a.m., the type is manifesting generator. The authority is emotional authority. The profile is a 3-6. The defined centers are all these centers, and the undefined center is the heart, ajna, and head. The channels are the 1222, the 3420, and the 1858. And the incarnation cross is the right angle cross of service. As we get deeper into human design, you'll also see that these right and left arrows change. And so we're not going to pay attention to that level of detail today. So we'll look at the 8 a.m. So at 8 a.m., the manifesting generator is still the same type. The authority is emotional. The profile has changed from a 3-6 to a 4-6. And the defined centers are the same. The channels are the same, and the incarnation cross is the same. Let's go to 2 p.m. The type is manifesting generator, emotional authority, profile 4-6. And now we have a new defined center is the ajna. And the new channel is the 1762. And the incarnation cross is still the right angle cross of service. Let's go to 10 p.m. Type is the same. Decision-making authority is the same. Profile is still 4-6. We no longer have a defined ajna. And the channels have not changed. The incarnation cross has not changed. So now we have a general idea, and we can go more into depth from there. I happen to know that my mom does not have a defined ajna. The reason why I know that she does not have a defined ajna is because I understand from living with her mind. She definitely has the properties of an undefined ajna, such as open-mindedness, forgetting things, being an airhead. And she does not have the properties of the defined ajna, such as, having a certain mind. And she's pretty certain she was born before noon. So that means that we can rule out anything before 2 p.m. So we're looking at likely, let's say if we look up 11 a.m., how is that? Okay, so if she was born at 11 a.m., she still has a defined ajna. So she must be born before that. So if she's born at 10:55, she still has a defined ajna. So at around 10:50, the defined ajna goes away. So in all likelihood, my mom is a 4-6. I'm almost positive she is because I know her, and she's definitely not a 3. So, already we can say a lot about my mom pretty certainly. We know for sure she's a manifesting generator because that doesn't change throughout the day. If we really want to double check, we can check at 1 minute past midnight and 11:59 to check if it changes. But otherwise, we can say certainly she's a manifesting generator. She definitely has emotional authority. She's a 4-6, and these are her defined centers. These are her channels. She has the right angle cross of service. So in this case, we're able to really say quite a lot with certainty about my mom's chart because of how much it changes throughout the day. My mom is an artist, and this is really shows through with her channel 8-1, which is about inspiration and creativity. She has a lot of individual circuitry, so she's really here to bring something creative and new to the world. And then I think her art also really shows the channel, the spirit of and the energy of the channel 1858, which is about joyous vitality through correcting. And so, even the correction that she makes, she'll do political paintings as well. And you can see also when you look at her, just the joyous vitality that is coming out of her. She really exudes that energy in her aura. So as you begin to know these energies and these channels and how they feel across different people that you meet over time, it starts to become pretty self-evident when something is present or not. I love you, Mom. So let's take another example. We'll go now to, this is the husband of a subscriber, a woman from Mexico named Pau Lester, and she wanted to know her husband's chart. So let's look at his chart and how it changes. We'll start at 1 a.m. So if he was born at 1 a.m., he is a manifester so type is manifester, decision-making authority is splenic, profile is a 1-3, defined centers, root, spleen, throat, and G. Undefined centers are the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the ajna, and the head. The channels 1858, 4816, 3313. And the incarnation cross is called the right angle cross of the Sphinx. So that is these top gates. So 8 a.m. Okay, so we've had a significant change in the type. So that's a big change. He went from being a manifester to a projector. So projector, the decision-making authority is the same, splenic. The profile is the same, 1-3. The defined centers have changed. So now we have an undefined root center. And the channels are now only 4816 and 3313. And the incarnation cross, right angle cross of the Sphinx. I think that was the same. Yeah, so the incarnation cross has not changed. Awesome. Okay, so let's look at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. we're still a projector with splenic authority, but now we're a 2-4 profile, and we now have a defined ajna, and the channel 1762, and the incarnation cross is the same. Let's look at 10 p.m. Okay, also still a 2-4 projector, splenic authority, and defined ajna. All right, so now we can start to, go further. We can look at 11, 55 and see what happens there. Okay, still a splenic projector. Okay, so you can see that, if you're really committed, you can just really look at all times. So this person is going to need to watch the videos about being a manifester or a projector, and also get feedback from the people around them about what seems more true or likely. And they're also, so that's the first variable. They need to decide, are they a projector or are they a manifester? And then either way, they have splenic authority. We know that for sure. Some really easy giveaways would be to look at the defined center. So for example, if you have a defined root, you're probably going to know it. And if you have an undefined root, you're definitely going to know. It's really obvious. So I would definitely recommend going and watching the video on this channel about those undefined centers and see what resonates. So in this case, do you have a defined ajna or an undefined ajna? That's going to really help you decide what birth chart is accurate. Do you have a defined root or an undefined root? And that's also going to help you nail which time is likely that you were born. Because if you did have a defined root, then you're a manifester. So those are ways that you can clarify. And then also looking at the channels. If you read the description of the 1858, and as you learn more about human design, it starts to become very obvious if someone has that particular channel, because it has a very unique energy to it. Same with if you read the description of the 1762 and how this mind thinks, you'll likely resonate with it or you won't resonate with it at all. And so that will help you clarify what chart is accurate. Same with profiles. So I believe at 1 a.m. this person was a 1-3 and then they became a 2-4. So the difference between a 1-3 and a 2-4, it's a big difference. If you read the description of the 1-3 or go to one of the videos on this channel about profile and just get a sense of those different profiles, then you're going to also really get a good sense of what chart is accurate for you. It would be really fun if you and your husband would do that research and then get back to us on the channel in the comments and let us know what you decided. Either way, I believe the incarnation cross did not change throughout the day. So that at least you can say with certainty is your incarnation cross. So that's nice. I'll go to one final example, which is my dad. If my dad was born at 1 a.m., his type is a generator, his authority is sacral, his profile is a 6-2. He has the root, the sacral, the spleen, the G, and the throat defined. And he has channel 5342, 1858, and 81. Incarnation cross is the left angle cross of obscuration. So at 8 a.m., a few things have changed. Now, the type is the same, authority is the same. The profile has changed from a 6-2. It's somewhere in there, it went from a 6-2 to a 6-3 and then to a 1-3. His profiles change in a specific order. The G and the throat are now undefined, and he has an additional channel defined, the 63, and the incarnation cross has also changed. So quite a lot of changes took place in between 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. So if I wanted to go more into looking at like minute changes and when they happened, I would just need to look up more times in between 1 and 8 a.m. So I'm going to just skip to 10 p.m. and see how much changes between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Okay, so he's still at 10 p.m. a 1-3 generator with sacral authority, same incarnation cross, same channels. So not a lot changed. Let's just look at, if we go to 1158. Yeah, so again, not a lot changed. Now, I happen to know my dad quite well, and I am certain that my dad is not a 6-2 or a 6-3. And I'm also certain that my dad does not have a defined G center or a defined throat, and specifically this channel 8-1. Because I know him, he is a perfect example of a 1-3 sacral generator. 1-3s are here to experiment through trial and error and become masterful on the material plane. My dad was a grocery store owner and owned, a business where he did go through all kinds of trial and error on the material plane and learned everything about owning real estate and having a business and running a grocery store. So he has all that experience. Plus, he was has always been quite active and a real athlete, an amazing golfer, natural athlete. And that's also very common for 1-3s to really be masterful with their bodies over time through a process of trial and error. And even still, just yesterday he started a business selling flowers to senior homes during COVID. And so he's still doing it. He's still figuring things out on the material plane and experimenting and through trial and error. And so it's just quite obvious to me through seeing him how he is a 1-3. He shares that channel 1858 with my mom, which is so beautiful because they both really do have this joyous vitality and aliveness that they have in common. In this case, there's a lot I can say with certainty about my dad's chart, just based on knowing him and knowing human design and seeing the changes that took place during the day, which is awesome. So sometimes it's great that you can pretty much say with certainty quite a few things about your chart, just based on looking up several charts throughout the day. So again, this is just what I do. It's not scientific, but it definitely sometimes really works for clarifying your chart if you don't know your birth time. If you liked today's video, please give it a like and leave a comment, maybe even sharing your experience with trying to find out your chart. Subscribe, and you can check out my website, karenmcmullen.ca, to learn more about my readings and also to subscribe to my email newsletter. That's where I share occasional updates. I will see you again soon in the coming video. I think we're going to talk about the generator next. See you soon. Bye.